My name's Sarah Picard, and I'm the director of the Center for Criminal Justice Research here at MDRC. Where my passion really lies is in thinking about the system, the justice system as a concept, and thinking about how it affects people's lives, including people who go through it, and people who work in it, and communities and people who are affected by it. As a kid, I thought I would be a journalist, but then I moved to New York and I started working more in the nonprofit world. I made a realization at that time that it was really the people in the policy and the non-governmental and nonprofit world that had their finger on the pulse and were really trying to change things. So I got very excited about that, and I was working at Hunter College on gender-based violence issues, and I was assigned to a project that worked with adolescents who were in Rikers Island. But what I really noticed when I was there was that just the enormity of the problems in terms of the culture of how we do justice in the country and the systemic problems with jails, prisons, courts, and other things. I think one of the most important issues in criminal justice right now has to do with what we would call either justice system fines and fees or what some people call criminal justice debt. I don't think people understand the extent to which people sometimes go into debt just as a result of a very minor involvement in the justice system. They're pulled over for a traffic offense, they have a fine for that offense, perhaps they miss a court date, and then they end up with fines and fees related to probation supervision, sort of individually focused fines and fees that have developed locally to support the system, but ultimately have a very troubling impact on individuals and their families. I think people tend to be generally very aware of what's going on in prison systems because that's what makes the news. I think people are less aware of other issues, for instance, that our prison populations are going down, and that's good because people are very concerned about mass incarceration. However, I don't think people are aware that our probation and parole systems are going up at the same time. And so we have a system of supervision and justice system involvement that's somewhat under the radar of the jail and prison system in the country. I think bail is a very big issue, money bail. So that's a thing that MDRC and our Criminal Justice Research Center are already involved in working on pretrial systems and trying to create more robust non-monetary pretrial systems. What's really interesting is, especially in the last 5 years, a lot of times the motivation for change and the desire to create more effective practices is actually coming from the practitioners and the policymakers and the folks whose job it is to keep communities safe while also guaranteeing and ensuring fair practices for people who come into the system. My feeling is that the best way to achieve that is to have partnerships with people who are actually on the ground, doing the work, and know the systems and have really brilliant ideas about how the systems should adjust and change to be more effective and more fair. And that includes judges, attorneys, police, people who have prior experience in the system. Our goal is to translate research into action and change into effective policy. That's our goal.